Business Financial Network. Business Financial Network.
Good day. This is Roger signing in for the BFN, the Business Financial Network. And welcome to our special podcast series, The Stock Sauce, where we get exclusive insights from one of the many companies our investment audience has been following as we continue to assist our viewers in the discovery of unexplored brand new asset classes and emerging issuers in the world's markets. And it's always a pleasure to introduce Mr. John Lai and Dr. Marie Bartling. How are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Beautiful
Awesome.
day.
Wonderful, wonderful. And let's jump right into this. Dr. Marie, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
No worries.
So I'm a veterinarian and I am primarily focused on pain management and physical health. So I started almost 20 years ago working on horses and primarily focused on athletes and sports medicine. And I always intended to work on all the animals. I've worked on horses, dogs, cats, goats, pigs, sheep, you don't know, a couple ferrets. And
Wow.
so it's kind of taken some fun turns. And
Agreed.
what I learned over time is that my favorite thing to do is to help animals recover their mobility and going back to playing.
Agreed.
And so it kind of fostered my attention. It drew my attention to really working on physical healing and focusing on everything I can to make sure that that's happening. So from chiropractic, acupuncture, stem cell therapy, pain management, nutrition, joint injections, I am studying as much as I can to feel like
Agreed.
I know what to use in the right scenario.
Mhm.
And that has led me to share with other people and really try to understand the biology around pain management and how we heal.
Wow. Incredible. That's unbelievable. So that's really good. And John, you must have been enjoying working with Dr. Marie here.
Yeah, no, she understands our product. She understands in what situation to use our product to have the best medical outcomes. And she knows the proper combinations to use because spring in itself is purely a mechanical function and functions exactly like what cartilage and tissue. She's finding ways of enhancing that with using whatever she decides to use among her mixtures. Because I get vets calling me, can I use this and this and this? And I say, well, I'm not supposed to tell you. So talk to our service vets.
Agreed. And so with that being said, Dr. Marie, how has your experience been working with Spring from Pet Vivo?
Well, it's a really interesting product, probably almost 2 years, and I find it to be a really important tool in my tool chest. So our Spring is used to treat patients who have arthritis or cartilage damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as people, we assume that we are all going to get arthritis. At some point, we're all going to be painful and lose our mobility. And what's interesting about that is not all of us get arthritis in the same place in our body. And some of us are more athletic at different times and different ages in our life, right? So it means that we kind of assume that it's related to age, that arthritis and degeneration of our body is completely age related. Well,
Agreed.
Yeah. So what if it's not? What if we take an example of an animal or even a human or horse, an athlete, a type of body that heals well and is physically functional for a really long time? What's the difference? What's the difference in how they live their life or what works differently? What's different is their medical care and their attentiveness to being healthy and physically symmetrical.
Yes.
So essentially the way it works is if you have wear and tear in your joints, I think we all know that your cartilage will break down.
Yeah.
I think we all have that kind of basic understanding. So what's important then is it means that your whole body system has to be healthy. The muscles and the tendons have to be strong and even so you don't have joint wear. So what happens then when a human or an animal starts to become painful from arthritis, what's really happening is that little bit of micro trauma inside the joints creates inflammation, which is painful. And that comes and goes. That's a good day or a bad day. That's too much mountain biking, and the next day you're sore. So that happens with our dogs too, right? So if they go to the dog park or they play ball and they are maybe a little tired the next day, but it's hard for us to recognize that because they're still pretty cheery, right? And we're kind of used to them hanging out and we're focused on everything else.
Yeah.
So that first stage is difficult, but it's the stage we need to catch it. To start noticing when they have small problems is one of the very best places and times to use a product like Spryte. The reason is it is a physical cushion. It binds, it essentially has little tiny sponge-like particles that you inject into the joint to prevent the bones from concussion. And that's what your cartilage does. So in the process of arthritis, once you have inflammation and you're having this plus or minus pain, if we calm down the inflammation and protect cartilage, it means that these animals can be non-painful for a huge amount of time. I have patients that are out almost a year and a half from any kind of relief from any kind of pain and have come off of their daily medications.
Wow.
So that's kind of early use case, right? That's the best case scenario. What we know is as these animals and people continue to go out and play, and we sometimes play too hard, that we tear up our bodies a little bit, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And so we know that we're going to need this continued support. And that if we continue to support cartilage, so the second example then might be somebody who is, let's go with 45 just for fun, right? And wants to go out and play football. Do you play any sports, Roger?
Basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Okay. So say that you're going to go out and play basketball. If you go and play too hard, what happens?
Oh, I'm aching. I'm done. Even golf too. Same thing, right? The shoulders, the elbows.
So what happens when you go out and play basketball and you played maybe a little bit too hard? And you have little bits of cartilage that are breaking off. And if we were to go in and replace that with a physical cushion, say every year, we know from example in horses that we can continue to help that person, that horse, that dog stay athletic for many years and without having to take daily pain medications, because the second step of that arthritis pathway and why we have pain is actually physical, right? So we've moved past inflammation and now we're into physical pain. The last thing we have to understand to use this product properly is that sometimes because we think that we can't treat arthritis, because we think that there's probably no other alternatives to drugs. Sometimes we wait a while to see if that dog or horse or person is going to get better. And so it means now we're at a stage where there's inflammation. Yes. There's some cartilage loss. Yes. And also what happens is chronic inflammation will activate the pain cascade. So it means that specific chemistry in your spinal cord is turned on and it makes all of your pain receptors more sensitive.
Okay.
What's important about that is we will often hear, I think he's getting old. He's really slowing down. These last 6 months have been really tough. Right? And those are key words, right? Because so what happened over the last 6 months? Did his hips melt? Probably not. Probably not. So what's important is the pain system is on and we have to turn that off before then we can see that the physical cushion can then take over and create comfort for a longer amount of time. So the short is, this is kind of the most applicable early stage, super important in the middle, and can still even help the older animals or patients who have had pain for a long time.
Wow.
this is a treatment we could use potentially every year and extend the length and life of our physical health.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So Spryng has made a huge difference in your practice and the way that you treat injury or wear and tear.
Yes. Yes. People bring me their pets so that they can get better as opposed to living on pain drugs.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, you know what, John? I'm sure you're at this conference right now, aren't you?
Yes, I am in New York.
In New York. And how's that going?
Good. I'm going to the black tie dinner tonight. No, that's tomorrow night.
Awesome.
It's only invited for special people, so I guess I must be special.
I guess you're a special person. Awesome. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And you presented today, I heard.
Yes.
How'd that go?
It went extremely well. I couldn't believe their analysts giving me a layup question like that. I haven't even talked to the guy in a couple months.
Awesome. So that's great. You know what? We're looking forward to hear more stuff about Pet Vivo. And we thank you, Dr. Marie Bartlin, for you spending the time today with us to explain to us and to Rambo about the benefits of Spryng. And more importantly, what we'll do is we're going to put the links to your Instagram and your service that you provide in the description. And again, John, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Marie Bartlin, thank you for your time. And I wish you guys all an unbelievable day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Business Financial Network.